Hi, my name's Dealtry. I live in Cape Town, South Africa, and I'm really excited to be a participant in the Global Solar Challenge 2027.
Where does your passion for sailing come from?
My passion for sailing comes, I think, from my late father, who took me sailing at a very early age on a wooden catamaran out in the Bay of Durban in the east coast of Africa. And I just absolutely loved it. And like most sailors, starting out in our youth, we sailed optimists. And shortly thereafter, I moved on to a locally designed boat called a dabchick, which is so much fun. And you could sail that up to your teenage years. So, yeah, I think it was started through my father introducing me to sailing at an early age.
If any, what lessons have you learned from sailing?
I think sailing teaches you to persevere, to not give up, because there's always something to do. There's usually something that goes wrong, and you have to find a solution to it. So sailing is a really solution-driven sport, and I think ultimately it's a good quality to learn.
Great. And what got you into sailing solo in particular?
Um, I don't think anything in particular has driven me to sailing solo. I am a dinghy sailor by heart, and I've sailed optimists and dab chicks and lasers, and those are all solo boats. They're not crude boats. Yes, I've sailed a few crude boats like the Mirror International class, which is well known, but primarily I've sailed on my own. And I've come to keelboat sailing as a dinghy sailor, so it's just for me a natural extension to be sailing on my own.
And when it comes to sailing, do you have a sailing hero, someone that inspired you?
Look, I mean, we all have those sailing greats that we can look back to in our youth. Starting from people like Morticia or Chichester or Robin Knox Johnson. And there have been so many that have followed on in their shoes, there would be too many to list. I mean, the modern day French sailors are um, amazing. I mean, you look at somebody like Jean-Luc Van der Heide. I mean, he is really somebody to look up for. But there are many, many, many sailors. Um, just look at the latest Vendée Globe and how amazing those sailors are in achieving the times that they did to get around the world. So I wouldn't say anyone in particular, but there are a lot of sailing greats. There are some from South Africa as well. I mean, we have our own heritage of um, solo sailors, people like Bertie Reed and J.J. Provier and John Martin, and even more recent people like Jeremy Bagshaw and of course Kirsten Neuschaffer. I mean, these are notorious solo sailors on the world stage. They just happen to be South African as well.
When it comes to sailing, what is your fondest memories?
I think sailing with my father in my youth is one of my fondest memories. But there are many memories. I mean, I've had been really feel privileged to have had the opportunities to sail where I have sailed, and to sail with the people that I've sailed with. So there are many memories. I love sailing my boat. My boat is just so exhilarating. Each time I go out there, I just have to pinch myself and say, "Wow, just isn't this fantastic?" So every time I go sailing is a memory.
You mentioned dinghies. Tell us a bit more about your sailing and racing experience.
So yeah, I've sailed dinghies all my life. I took a bit of a hiatus from sailing when you get into adulthood. You don't have as much time, perhaps, to sail. But I came back to sailing dinghies later on in life and competed as best as I can on a national level, your provincial level, and some on an international level. I mean, my sailing days goes back to the early 80s where I competed in the windsurfing worlds, in France, in Nice. So yeah, there's a long history of sailing.
Where does your dream of circumnavigation come from?
Well, the dream of circumnavigating goes back a long time. In the 60s, late 60s, my father had the ambition to sail around the world, and he bought a 60-foot ketch. And he was going to set off with my mum and my two brothers. But there were reasons that didn't happen. My mother actually just pulled the plug on it because she realized just how dangerous it was and how difficult it would be with a young family to actually achieve that. So I think from the late 60s, early 70s, when I heard about people achieving solo circumnavigations, um, I had my heart set on sailing around the world. And ultimately, that became an ambition to do it solo.
How or why did you choose the Global Solo Challenge in particular?
For me, the Global Solo Challenge was the right choice of event for me because I'm a Corinthian sailor. I'm not a professional. I don't have the massive budgets that professional sailing requires. And the Global Solo Challenge offers a competitive race, but the camaraderie with the other people, not trying to um, outdo each other, but more to help each other. I think will suit my approach to sailing around the world. That's what the Global Solar Challenge is going to offer me.
And how do you plan to prepare for the Global Solo
Well, I
Challenge?
think the short answer to that is three words: sail, sail, sail. I mean, there's no substitute for experience. You've got to sail your boat. The the difficulty with that is to actually find the time to sail, 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 and to have the boat ready for that. So it's a balance. I'm doing my best to prepare the boat. I don't think a day goes by without me working on doing something towards achieving the goal of being on the start line. And then, given the opportunity, I'm trying to sail as much as possible.
So, what would you say is the biggest challenge when it comes to the Global Solo
Well, the
Challenge?
biggest challenge for sure is to get to the start line, to have sufficient funding to prepare the boat and to be on the start line is definitely going to be the biggest challenge. I think after that, the sailing is going to be fun. Although I'm enjoying the journey of getting to the start, it definitely is the biggest challenge.
And do you have any specific fear or something in particular that worries you?
Um, no, I don't think I do. I'm not fearful of being out on the ocean. I am comfortable with being with myself and on my own. Um, you know, the weather is the weather. I think the probably the biggest fear would be equipment failure, um, and that you don't get injured along the way. If you're conservative, um, and you sail a good race, well, you should get to the end. But there are circumstances beyond your control, and I think injury is probably the biggest worry of anything.
How do you manage loneliness and mental pressure?
Uh, I don't have enough experience of sailing on my own long distance to really answer the question about loneliness. I don't have a problem being on my own. I enjoy my own company. Um, And as far as the mental challenge is concerned, well, actually, I'm relishing that. I look forward to the opportunity to engage with myself mentally and to get myself through that mental challenge of being on my own alone for so long.
What role, if any, does your family or shore support team, if you have one, play in your preparations?
Look, yeah, as many people will tell you, solo sailing is one person on a boat, but behind them, there has to be a team of people because without them, you wouldn't be that one person on the boat. So the fact that I've got the support of my family is crucial. That I'm able to do this. I'm wanting to put a team of people together. That's proving to be more difficult than initially imagined, because it's a cost thing. People are willing to give of their time up to a certain point, but you need more than that. You really need a team of people behind you, and that comes at a price. So it I think it's really important, but you need to have that team in place if you are going to achieve the goal of being on the start. It's not an easy thing to achieve. To follow your passion, to follow your life dream takes a sacrifice, and not only on your part, but also on the part of the people around you. Um, it's not difficult to see one of your loved ones to set off on a journey like this. It's quite a dangerous journey. We try and mitigate that danger by being as prepared as possible, but ultimately there is a risk. So it's fantastic that people will support others in their endeavors to go and do something that inherently is dangerous, but ultimately so fulfilling.
Have you connected with other skippers in the Global Solo
Yeah,
Challenge?
I have. I was very fortunate to connect with some of the skippers from the 2023 edition that had to make a stop in Cape Town, unfortunately for them. But for me, it was great to have met other skippers that are participating in the race. And of course, then there's the WhatsApp group that you've created for the 2027 race, and I think engaging with other people and seeing their questions and answering where your experience allows you, but also to gain knowledge from their questions and other people's answers. I think that I really look forward to meeting these people in person. Some of them I have met already, of course, um, but yeah, I look forward to seeing and building relationships with these people as we get closer to the start.
How important do you think is the community or camaraderie aspect?
I think it's really important that the camaraderie, because I think ultimately that's what's going to get you around. Um, I take um, I take reassurance in the fact that there are other people sailing the same race as me and will be close at hand should something go wrong. And similarly, that I'm there for somebody else should the need arise that that need my help. So I think the camaraderie is going to be a very important part of the race.
Tell us about your boat.
I've got a first generation Owen Clark design, class 40. My boat was never officially measured because it was made in South Africa, one of 5 boats. The other 4 were all exported to Europe, but mine remained here. So it's identical to 5 other boats in the world. I have made some modifications to mine, specifically with the circumnavigation in mind. I've extended the cuddy to offer protection from the weather. I've created a seat below the cuddy, and I've also lowered the cockpit sole so that I'm offered more protection. I'm quite a tall person, so I needed to make sure that I'm not going to have the boom as an adversary whilst sailing.
The format of the Global Solo Challenge is quite different from other events. Do you like the idea of staggered starts?
I think the format is fantastic. The old tortoise and the hare pursuit race is brilliant. Set the slower boats off first and the faster boats afterwards. I think it's really challenging and engaging, not only for the audience but also for the skippers to try and chase down the boats that are ahead of them. So I think the format of a pursuit race is brilliant.
You mentioned the coach roof, but what modifications did you have to make to your boat for the Global Solo Challenge?
The original Class 40s didn't offer a lot of protection from the elements, and if you look at the modern ocean races like the embarks now, they are almost completely enclosed, and the sailors hardly go outside. So my boat is somewhere in between there, where sort of fashioned on the early generation of imakas, where they started to look at protecting the sailor from the weather, knowing that if you are warm and dry, you can concentrate and perform better. So I think that is going to be a big bonus for me, at least, in the Global Solo Challenge, where I can still sail the boat being outside, but being protected from the wind and the water and the waves.
And have you already found all the budget that you need for the Global Solo Challenge?
Oh, I'm so far behind on the budget story. Mine is a Corinthian campaign, and I think I'm the wrong age, the wrong color, and the wrong sex to find a sponsor. But for me, it's about the story. And if people can relate to my story and want to support me, well, I'd welcome it. I've come up with some interesting crowdfund ideas where I'm selling space on my boat so that people can put their picture on my boat and join me sailing around the world. But that is small money compared to what the ultimate capital that you need to achieve the goal of getting to the start. The support, whether it's of product or financial from sponsors, is absolutely essential. And I'm pleased to say that I've had the support of people like Ullman Sales, Digital Express, Associated Rigging, local companies that have supported me in getting to the start. And that's invaluable, because without that support, it just would not be achievable. So a big thank you to my supporters, current and future. And I hope to do right by them by getting them the right exposure through this race.
Do you like the choice of Vigo as the starting port for 2027?
From what I can tell, I think Vigo is an excellent choice. I have not sailed keel boats in Europe, so I can't really answer that question. I've sailed predominantly in the southern hemisphere, but what I can tell is Vigo offers a nice archipelago to protect for the start and the finish. So from a media and a spectator point of view, I think it's a really, really good choice.
What does it mean for you, if anything, to represent your country in a global event?
I'm really proud to represent South Africa in the Global Solo Challenge. I'm the only South African entrant, and so I am trying to leverage that a bit to represent our country, our people, and the South African brands on a world stage. So it's really important.
Do you want to link this personal challenge to a social message?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about me achieving my life goal, but it's important for me to draw attention to a cause. And being a South African entry, what's close to my heart is the albatross, which is the iconic seabird of the Southern Ocean. South Africa has a protectorate island called Marion Island, and there's a project called Mouse Free Marion, which is aimed at trying to save about 6 million seabirds from demise and possibly extinction by an invasive rodent species. And so I really plan to try and highlight as best as possible the plight of the seabirds of the Southern Ocean by my campaign. I think it's also really important to share our experience with others. And what I'm hoping to achieve is to inspire other people, especially younger people in our country, to perhaps take up the sport or even just get involved in the maritime industry, because it's really, really rewarding. So I'm hoping through my journey and my entry into the race, I can inspire others to do something similar, or even just to get involved in the conservation of oceans, or something in the maritime industry, because the the oceans cover such a vast expanse of our world, and we know so little about it. And I think if I had to go back and do life again, I would like to know more about the oceans, what's on it, what's in it, what's under it. I think that really would be something worth doing.
What message would you give to someone that is starting out and is thinking about long offshore sailing and the circumnavigation?
My answer to that would be take the first step. And, in 1994, I made the commitment to myself to sail around the world. Now, 31 years later, I'm only realizing that dream. And it's because I didn't keep myself focused on that goal. So ultimately, if you take the first step, the other steps will follow. So make the effort, make the commitment, and you will achieve your goal. But don't delay. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait. There's never a right time. The right time will never come. You actually have to just say, I'm going to do it, and get on with it. Yeah, so people have asked me, am I really committed to do this race? And my answer to that is absolutely. When I decided that I was going to fulfill that dream of sailing around the world, the only way that I could realize it financially was to sell my house. So I've actually sold my house and bought a boat. So I'm in with both feet. I'm definitely going to be on the start of the Global Solar Challenge 2027.
And you're based in Cape Town. If someone wants to find you, contact you, and become on sailing with you or help you in the project, can they find you, reach
Yeah,
you?
look, I would welcome anybody to come and sail with me in Cape Town, whether they're in Africa or in Europe or anywhere in the world for that matter. You can find me on the socials, most.africa. I've got a website, most.africa, and I've got a GoFundMe in a website called Get On Board, which is the metric offshore sailing team, where we take people sailing that support our cause and make donation towards our campaign, as well as donations towards our charities. And yeah, we'll welcome anybody to come and sail with us at any time of year. We sail summer and winter, so please come to Cape Town, come sailing with me.
Cape Town, the windy town. I remember when I was there, it was windy all the time.
Well, in the summertime, the wind blows a gale. I went sailing yesterday. The forecast was for 22 knots. We had consistently 30, 35 knots. I was taking a fellow Class 40 owner actually sailing on my boat, and a young woman from Brazil. And they loved it. Of course, it is exhilarating. Sailing a Class 40 in that kind of breeze is wonderful. So it's a really exhilarating experience sailing out of Cape Town. And in the wintertime, we have a nice northwesterly wind. Yes, we get a bit of rain, but we don't get snow. It's not that cold. So it's a really, really a good time to sail. So year-round sailing in Cape Town is fantastic. Adventure sailing is something that we do, and it supports my campaign helps me get to the start. So please come and sail on my Class 40. It's an amazing experience. You'll love it.